You open the mortgage calculator, not for a mansion, just a normal home. Still impossible. You save more. Still impossible. You move farther away. Still impossible. So the thought appears, maybe I failed. You didn't. You're not looking at a house price. You're looking at a machine. A machine where your money gets weaker, homes become wealth, supply stays scarce, and everyone already inside has a reason to keep the door closed. A machine that keeps you renting. And the person you'll want to blame for it isn't the villain you think. Because if you ever make it inside, there's a good chance you'd pull the door shut behind you as well. That is why the easiest answer is not enough. Because everyone tells you the same thing. Rates. Interest rates are high. Prices are high. Just wait it out. It sounds reasonable. And that is exactly why it hides the machine. Because if the problem were only rates, it would be temporary. Rates rise, rates fall. The door eventually reopens. Except it doesn't. When rates are low, money is cheap, but prices rise to absorb the cheapness. You save on the rate and lose it right back on the price. When rates climb, money gets expensive, but prices don't fall the way buyers expect. Owners sitting on yesterday's cheap mortgage have little reason to sell. Inventory freezes. The house stays expensive and the money gets expensive at the same time. Low rates, expensive house. High rates, expensive money. You never get both halves of the good deal at once. So the door isn't reopening. Harvard's 2025 State of the Nation's Housing Report found that existing home sales fell to a 30-year low in 2024, the fewest since 1995. That is not a normal market cooling off. That is a market barely moving. Rates didn't build the wall. They just turned on the lights so you could see it. Here's what they revealed. A house price isn't just the price of the house. It's also the value of the money chasing it. And when money gets diluted, housing can look like it's getting more expensive, even when nothing about the house has changed. Same walls, same roof, same street. But suddenly, it costs more years of your life. Money can be created with a keystroke. A house can't. So when your dollars lose value, you feel it. You get a raise and you're still behind. You didn't get worse at working. The ruler got shorter. So people look for something that holds its value. And the safest one they know is a house. So the home stops being only shelter, it becomes a lifeboat. Which means the first-time buyer isn't just trying to buy a place to live. They're trying to buy the exact thing everyone else is using to escape inflation. That's the foundation underneath everything else. You're paid in melting money and asked to buy a protected asset. You are trying to buy a place to live. But everyone already inside is using that same house as a financial tool. Wealth for the owner, collateral for the bank, rent for the investor, taxes for the city. So you are not just bidding on shelter. You are bidding against every job the house now performs for everyone else. None of this was nature. It was built. After World War II, America helped make homeownership the main wealth machine of the middle class, through mortgages, tax breaks, and suburbs built by policy. And anything built can be protected, which is why renting isn't just the thing you do before buying. In this system, renting is where you're kept while the asset moves further away. Now, watch the defense. Lock 1. The shortage. There aren't enough homes where people actually want to live. You can't conjure up another downtown, another school district, another job center overnight. And where those already exist, the rules usually make new housing painfully hard to add. Brookings estimated the U.S. was short about 4.9 million homes in 2023. The shortage is a crisis for the buyer. For the owner, it can look like a paycheck. Build too little, prices rise. Prices rise, owners feel richer. And to the people already inside, the shortage isn't something to fix, it's something to protect. Lock 2. The defense of the shortage. Lock 1 is the shortage itself. Lock 2 is everyone with a reason to defend it. Stop being the person outside the house. For 60 seconds, be the person inside it. You're not rich, you're not a landlord. You just did the responsible thing for years. This house is the biggest thing you own. It's your retirement, your emergency fund, the inheritance for your kids. Then, a new building gets proposed 2 blocks away. More apartments, more supply, exactly what the city needs. If you were still renting, this would look like hope. But now, you own, so you see it differently. More traffic, less parking, crowded schools, a neighborhood you didn't sign up for. You still support affordable housing, just not this one, not here, not beside your retirement. The supply that saves the person outside feels dangerous to the person inside, not because they are evil, because the system turned their home into their safety. Somewhere, an owner is looking at a bigger house. Maybe they need another bedroom. Maybe they want to move closer to family. Maybe they just want the next step. Then they look at the new mortgage. And the math punishes them for moving. Because moving doesn't just mean buying another house. It means surrendering yesterday's cheap rate and rebuying at today's price and today's rate. So they do the rational thing. They stay. That's lock 3, the freeze. A Federal Reserve Board research paper found mortgage rate lock-in explained 44% of the drop in borrower mobility from 2021 to 2022. And when owners don't move, their house never returns to the market. The starter home a young family needed never appears. The bigger home a growing family needed never appears. Owners trapped inside good deals. Buyers trapped outside bad ones. The market doesn't just get expensive. It gets stuck. And then a new kind of buyer walks in. One who doesn't care about any of this. Lock 4, the capital. The family bidding on that house isn't only bidding against other families anymore. A family values a home by what it costs to live there. Capital values it by what it can generate. The family asks, can we afford the payment? Capital asks, what's the return? One wants shelter. The other wants yield. That is why you feel outmatched at every open house. Because you are. You're not losing to a richer family. You're losing to a different kind of player with a different definition of winning. Imagine showing up to buy a life raft only to find someone bought every raft in the store, not because they needed one, but because they knew you would. Now they rent them back to the people still treading water. This does not require one company owning every house. It only requires every kind of capital noticing the same thing. Small landlords, large landlords, cash buyers, short-term rentals, investment firms. Housing is scarce, necessary, rentable, and historically safe. So money moves toward it. Not to live there, to collect from it. Lock 5, the politics. Every politician says they want affordable housing. But affordable means one thing. The price has to move closer to the buyer. And that means moving away from the owner. The renter wants the price to come down. The owner needs the value protected. Those are opposite directions. You cannot push the same number up and down at the same time. And the side that wants it up has more power. They already own. They vote. They show up. They complain. They remember. So the system listens. Because owners are already organized around the price that keeps everyone else out. One person is asking for a future. The other is defending the value of their home. And in local politics, the people already inside usually have the louder voice. And outside the door, rent becomes the trap. The same shortage that keeps homes expensive also keeps rent high. So the money you need to escape gets collected before it can become a down payment. Sometimes it pays someone else's mortgage. Sometimes it pays their taxes. Sometimes it becomes their return. But either way, your payment helps protect their asset while keeping you from buying your own. You are not just paying rent. You are paying the cost of being kept outside. So, this is where the story usually looks for a villain. A landlord, an investor, a homeowner, a politician. But the system does not need a villain. It only needs everyone protecting their place inside it. The homeowner is protecting the asset that made them feel safe. The investor is following the return. The city is protecting its tax base. The politician is protecting the voters who already showed up. Nobody has to design the lock. They only have to pull the lever in front of them. And every lever points the same way. Keep housing scarce, keep values protected. Because once a home becomes your safety, cheaper housing stops feeling like justice. It starts feeling like a threat. So the number on the mortgage calculator is not just a price, it is a position. It tells you which side of the machine you are on. Outside, affordability feels like survival. Inside, affordability can feel like loss. The same price that locks you out is the price someone else needs protected. So the ladder disappears slowly, not because one person pulled it away, but because everyone inside had a reason to protect their rung. Until the home that was supposed to prove you made it becomes the thing keeping you out. The house is still there, the door is still there, but the ladder became a drawbridge. And once people crossed over, the system rewarded them for pulling it up.